Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. We're back for the vinyl deck tech of the week. Another random one, but one I did mean to cover a while back when Final Fantasy first came out and I never quite got around to, and it is today. Ardbert, Warrior of Darkness, 1 white and black for a 2/2 Spirit Warrior, but has 2 really nice abilities. Whenever you cast a white spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each legendary creature you control. They give them Vigilance. Black spells do the same, but they gain Menace. Yeah, haven't had fun with a black-white legendary deck for a while, where Legends matters. So here we go. My personal favourite choices of black and white legendary creatures are about to appear with some backup things, but this deck is just fun. So if you want something fun to play because you're bored with everything else, this could be the one for you at your friendly local gaming store on MTGO, where I will be playing this tonight on the stream. So get ready for it. Here we go. So, starting at the beginning, 2 Planeswalkers to kick off Ardbert. Sovereign Vengeful Broodlord, because I like having all my creatures and Planeswalkers having lifelink during my turn. The +2 is quite nice to ping someone or something, or another Planeswalker. And the -X, just return target creature card with a converted mana cost X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It does become a vampire, but it does return it, and there's no finality count or anything else. So, even if it gets killed off again, it'll still go in your graveyard. From there, we've got Kaya, the Inexorable. Chucking around the ghost form counters, so the creatures come back to your hand and you get a spirit when they die is nice. Exiling annoying things is also very nice. If we can get the emblem off at the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a legendary spell from your hand, your graveyard, or from among cards you own in exile without paying its mana cost. If you can get the emblem off, you're going to be really, really happy. So I would recommend playing Kaya later in the game when you've got the protection for her, and then just pump her up a couple of turns. Maybe sit back, don't attack if you can avoid not to, and just get that emblem off because it is really good in this deck. From there, we've got 32 creatures, and they are all legendary. Kick it off while that Ever Faithful, so we can make it bigger as we play our spells. Elias Elcor is also in. A little bit of Death Touch, life gain, life loss for your opponents is great. Karloff of the Ghost Council, getting some life, get some +1/+1 counters on them. Exile something. When you can remove 6 counters, even better. Loroth, the Corrupt Sheriff's in again. Second time this week I've had this card in a deck when I hadn't played it for ages, but I figured the treasures would be pretty useful in this deck. Ordained Dromoka Warrior, just chuck around those +1/+1 counters and hopefully get some double strikers on the go is always nice. Well, fairly simple really with Ardbert in play. From there, we have Othros, God of Passage, because, you know, we want our creatures back in our hand, not go into our graveyard. Brennan the Demiurge makes an appearance as well, just to do some politicking, really. It's complicated enough. You can read it. You know what it does. It's too complicated to explain on a video. Brimas, King of Orkosa, is here, just so we can get those cat soldier tokens that are vigilance that are attacking whenever we attack with him, or block. Dranar, Liberator of Malakir, just chucks around more +1/+1 counters, because obviously the first strike damage usually gets in first, and you can pump all your other creatures up before they go to normal damage. Cabal, Console of Allocation, just to punish our opponents for playing non-creature spells. Krynos, Hound of Ethros is here. Creature cards in graveyards can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast spells from their graveyards. Shame. There's a 3/3 Vigilance, Menace and Lifelink that really is quite tasty from my point of view. Lawrence here, just take out those annoying enchantments and artifacts, as you know, and then draw some cards with a friend you've made on the board. Rufus Shinna is in also from Final Fantasy Land, because, you know, hopefully they're attacking, you get the dog to go with it. So, sounds good to me. Tomic, Wielder of Law, gives us a little bit of protection to our 2 Planeswalkers, but it's just a flying vigilance pain in the butt, basically, for a lot of people. Vanat, Heart of Hydaelyn, is also in as well. We cast legendary spells, we draw cards, triggers only once a turn. Then we can exile target non-land permanent and transform it, and we then get the Mother Crystal. At the beginning of the combat in your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature you control. Until the end of their turn, it gains indestructible, and draw a card of its legendary. Apart from the few tokens we produce, everything's legendary, so yay, go us. Biza, the Bounding Springs in, just in case we get behind on life cards and creatures. Elenda, the Saint of Dusk, is also in. I like this one. I've got both versions of Elenda here. This one's from Foundations. As long as your life total is greater than your starting life total, Elenda gets +1/+1, has Menace, and gets +5/+5 as long as your life total is at least 10 greater than your starting total. Yeah, that's pretty good. The other version Ender's in as well, so we get the little vampires when she dies off. And then Felisa, Fang of Silver Quill, also makes an appearance just for the mental side of things. And whenever a non-token creature you control dies, if it had counters on it, you get X tap 2/1/1, white and black Inkling tokens equal to the number of counters on it, which should be a few if you've got Ardbert out quite early. From there, Marielle's in as well, just so we can get the soldiers, have some blockers. Ardbert gives us a lovely way of making sure our legendary creatures get copies and they go to the graveyard. They don't get exiled, so yay, go us. Rev, the Tithe Extractor, is also in as well. Attack target creature against Death Touch, and whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat extra player, create a treasure token. Look at the top card of that player's library and exile it face down. As long as you're exiled, you may cast it as long as it remains exiled. You do need the treasures if you're hitting something that isn't white and black, though. Just bear that in mind. Rhoda, Geist Avenger, just gets big if people are tapping creatures for mana or any other reason. Arvid pumps up all of our legendary creatures, apart from himself, by +2/+2. Carmen, the Cruel Sky Marcher, watch it get big as people sacrifice things, then we get to return things from our graveyard to the battlefield. Gandalf the White lets us have, if a legendary permanent artifact entering or leaving the battlefield causes a trigger ability of a permanent you control trigger, that additions trigger time. Yay. Lisa, Forgotten Archangel, just gives a way of returning our creatures to our hand instead of the graveyard when they die off and exiling our opponent's creatures. And the Sky Shroud version is also here as well. Whenever a player casts a spell, they lose 2 life. So, yeah, you do make yourself a target with this one. Be careful. From there, Ravos, the Soul Tender, just so we can pump all our creatures up a little bit more, then bring a creature back at the beginning of each upkeep to our hand. Shadrick, Silver Quill, just so we can do the whole let's choose things. +1/+1 counters are quite good, and giving a person a 2/1 blocker isn't the end of the world. Wouldn't give them a card though, unless you're desperate, you can draw a card yourself. Then the last two are a bit of fun for me because they're just two of my favourite white legends. Achroma, Angel of Wrath, for all the wonderfulness. This does at 8 mana, and then Avacyn's Angel of Hope to make sure everything we control is indestructible. This one, probably slightly better, but I couldn't resist having Achroma and Avacyn's playing together in this deck. Drop them if you don't want to go up to 8 mana, basically. From there, we have a few sorceries. Reanimate to bring something back from our graveyard. Just make sure you've got enough life to survive the next few turns. Toxic Deluge for some control, along with Damnation, Wrath of God, and Urza's Ruinous Blast is lovely. Victimizers in, so we can sack off one of the tokens we've corrected to get a couple of our legendaries back that have been killed off. And then, if we want to get all of our legendary creatures back from our graveyard, Primeval's Glorious Rebirth. Yeah. The big sorcery, the expensive sorcery, but why would it change the game? Instance, well, Condemn, Path to Exile, Source of Plowshares for some lovely targeted removal, because we are quite mana costly in our creatures, so we've got to really look after ourselves in the early game. And then Achroma's Will, because if you don't know by now, I like Alpha Striking with this, and that's what it's here for. Artifacts wise, well, ramp with both of our, Mox Amberlight to start with, and then Mox Tantalite as well. The Elixir of Immortality is here to stuff everything back in when it goes pear-shaped. Soul Ring, the Diamonds, Charcoal and Marble are in. The Medallions, Jet and Pearl are in. Talisman of Hierarchy is in. Mithril Coax, it seemed right to have that in here with all the legendary creatures. Likewise, the Relic of Legends, so we can tap our legendary creatures to add more mana and build the board up even quicker. The Serema comes in from Edge of Eternities, just so we can go and find those legendary creatures we need and put in our hand, especially then if we can crew it, even better, to make sure all our other tapped legendary creatures are indestructible. Both Crystals, the Darkness and the Wind are in, and then Hero's Podium, because, makes our creatures really big, really quickly. And finally, another fun card for me, Achroma's Memorial, just to give everything flying. First Strike, Vigilance, Trample, Haste, Pro Red and Pro Black. Enchantment wise, well, Flowering for the White Tree is a no-brainer, obviously. The Barren Step Siege is nice for the Asban side, so we can chuck around some +1/+1 counters in our end step. Day of Destiny, just to pump up our creatures even more. I left the Doctor Who artwork because we might get Doctor Who eventually on MTGO, but it's the most common one you can pick up at the moment, so I left it there so people know they're building in paper. And then Debtor's Knell. Again, a little bit of fun for me, just one of my lovely preferred black-white enchantments. So we can go and get creatures from our graveyard and put them back under the, target creature from the graveyard onto the battlefield under our control. So we can nick other people's creatures, basically. Woohoo! Lands, black and white, nothing particularly fancy. Emiria's here because we do have a lot of white sources or plains in the deck. The Great Hall of the Citadel's worth pointing out in this deck. At 1 tap it, add 2 mana any colour of combinations, so it does help you get some of your more complicated creatures on the go. Can only spend this mana only to cast legendary spells. Not so much of a problem with this deck, so it's fine. Everything else, pretty much what you would expect to see. 8 plains in the deck alongside 7 swamps. Urborg's here. Tomb, Vault of the Archangel, I will point out, so we can give all our creatures lifelink and death touch if we need to. And Emeria, which I've already mentioned. And that's it. That's my take on Ardbert, the Warrior of Darkness. It's just a fun one from Final Fantasy that I just wanted to finish the week off with. As I've been saying earlier in the week, I've kind of still trying to think about Spider-Man. I don't think there's anything, unless something's come up on the videos I've done this week, so I'm doing these as a bulk on one day, so I've mentioned this a few times. If there is a Spider-Man card or Omen's Paths card that I haven't covered you want to see, leave me a comment down below, let me know, and I'll get onto it for next week. Otherwise, I'll just be punching that random button again while we wait for Avatar to start being spoiled, and I will start on them because that set does have me a lot more excited than the Spider-Man set does, I'll be honest. But for now, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. If you've got any cheers left from this week, please cheer this video. Help me get up that little leader table so I get some more views on the stream. YouTube channel. There's a link to the stream down below if you want to come and see me play Ardbert tonight. Feel free to come give me a follow on Twitch. And I'll be back next week with some more decks. But for now, take care, have a good one, and I'll see you later. Bye.